making equal opportunity commonplace, not the exception for people with disabilities. That's what Haben Girma, who's the first deaf-blind person to graduate from Harvard Law School, works every day to assure. And that work has people taking notice. The 31-year-old's accolades include being named a White House Champion of Change by President Obama, the Helen Keller Achievement Award, and a spot on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Girma was in the region for a lecture yesterday, and she spoke with me in the studio about her work.
I'm here today to speak at Williams College, actually, and I'm doing a presentation to help shift the dominant story from one of pity and shame to one of talent and innovation. Our society puts the burden on people with disabilities to make the world more accessible. The burden should be on society to remove the barriers. If we make our building wheelchair accessible, we can have more wheelchair users in the building. If anyone who works in the building later develops a disability, then they'll also have access to their home and workspaces. So I want to shift the story. And also, a lot of people still think about this as charity. This is for all of us. Anyone can become disabled. And also, there are laws that prohibit discrimination. Litigation is expensive. Do not wait for a lawsuit. Choose inclusion.
So you're the first deaf-blind woman to graduate from Harvard Law School, and you're an advocate for equal opportunities for people with disabilities. When did you know that you wanted to be a disabilities advocate?
When I was in college, first of all, I went to college at Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon. And there, they love their pioneers. Everything is called pioneers. Their football team, pioneers. The newspaper, Pioneer Log. The bus, Pioneer Express. And so I thought maybe this would be a place where I could celebrate the things that make me different and charge ahead to create solutions that uniquely work for a deaf-blind person. And the college did a really good job providing me my books in Braille. Exams were in Braille. Even the outdoor programs, kayaking and rock climbing, were accessible to me. There was just one problem. The cafeteria menus were only in print. I couldn't read them, not because I was blind, but because the format of the menus. So I asked the cafeteria manager, can you post these online or in Braille or email them to me? I have assistive technology that allows me to use websites and emails. And the manager said to me, we're very busy. We have over 1,000 students. We don't have time to do special things for students with special needs.
Doesn't the law require him to accommodate you when you've asked for it, or even when you haven't asked for it?
The law does require accommodations, but we're not born as advocates. I was not familiar with the law. I had no sense of having rights to have access to the menus. So for the first few months, I just tolerated the situation. I told myself, at least I have food. At least I'm getting an education. My mother, when she was my age, was a refugee in Sudan. So the differences were extreme. And I told myself, just be grateful, don't complain. But when we tell ourselves to not complain and to put up with injustice, the injustice continues. That's accommodating a broken system. And finally, I hit a point where I realized I could not handle being left out of critical information. I was a vegetarian at the time, and it's hard to eat vegetarian if you don't know what the food choices are.
Absolutely. So what did you do?
I tolerated it for a while. Then I talked to advocates, did research, and I went back to the cafeteria manager and explained, I'm not asking for a favor. I'm asking you to comply with the law. The Americans with Disabilities Act prohibits discrimination against students with disabilities, and if you don't provide me access to the menus, I'm going to take legal action.
I bet that got some attention.
I had no idea how to do that. I was just 19. I couldn't afford a lawyer, but I knew I had to try and do something. And after I framed the issue as a civil rights issue, the culture changed in the cafeteria. They started providing access to the menus. Life became delicious.
Well, you're here today, Haben, with your assistant Cameron and your guide dog Milo. Can you explain how you work together as a team? Because I think people see her typing and you using a device with your fingers. Can you explain what that is?
So this is a Braille computer, and on the bottom are dots. I'm running my fingers over the dots to feel the letters. It's connected to a wireless keyboard. Cameron is typing visual and audio information. Like if you're smiling, nodding, she's typing to let me know you're smiling and nodding. And then what you're seeing, she's also typing that. This is a way for me to access visual and audio information. Very few people know sign language, but most people, especially millennials, know how to type. So it's a way for me to easily connect and start having conversations with people.
And so obviously you're using a technological innovation here today to help communicate with me. Do you believe that disability is an opportunity for innovation? I've heard you talk about that. I've read about it on your website. But innovation, how?
When you face a challenge, it's an opportunity to come up with a new solution. People with disabilities face challenges because the mainstream society is built with non-disabled people in mind. So if we want to live in this world, we have to come up with solutions to make it work. And in that process, we often come up with solutions that benefit the entire community. This process of disability leading to community-wide innovations is called the curb cut effect.
Something else that you often talk about is this concept of the benefits of choosing inclusion. But do you think that people purposely exclude others?
It's more of out of sight, out of mind. If you have an inaccessible building where wheelchair users can't enter, then you won't have wheelchair users in the room, and the people who work in the space are not going to be thinking about access for wheelchair users. So we need to get people thinking, access means people who are different from you as well. So let's build all our spaces to be accessible to everyone.
Yeah, that's a bit of a catch-22, right? You point out people might not be there because it's inaccessible, and because it's inaccessible, we as a community don't have the benefit of learning from each other and working together.
Yeah, and all our bodies change as we age. We should have access at every stage in our lives. We're the largest community group, we're the largest minority group. Anyone can be disabled at any time. And if you do become disabled, you should have the right to still participate in your community.
Hearing you say that people with disabilities are the largest minority group, it got me thinking, you know, we're listening to the 2020 Democratic debates. I often hear the candidates talking about minority groups, but it's often attached to race, to people of color. I don't think that I've heard anyone on the 2020 campaign talking about people with disabilities. Why do you think that is?
It's really disappointing that very few politicians talk about disability. We are a significant minority group, so the politicians should be talking more about disability. And there are advocates who are working on a movement called Crip the Vote, which is trying to galvanize the disability voting bloc so that we can get more politicians to pay attention. Crip the Vote.
You are a strong advocate for people with disabilities. You're also a lawyer. You could have picked any line of work to go into. But we've been talking about politicians. Did you ever think about running for office yourself?
So I am very blessed to have an amazing education, having gone to Harvard Law School, to have many skills and talents that benefit people. And I want to use all my skills and talents to help my community, to help make our world more inclusive. If that means working in office, I will consider that opportunity. But right now, I'm too young for that.